Dear students, I welcome you all to my class on poetry. Today we shall discuss the poem To His Coy Mistress by Andrew Marvell. Like I told you in my earlier classes, Andrew Marvell happens to be one of the most important metaphysical poets. So metaphysical poets lived during the early part of the 17th century and they stand out as poets. Their ideas are completely different from the other poets we study. The term metaphysical means beyond physical or after physical. The term was introduced or coined by Samuel Johnson in his work The Lives of the Most Eminent English Poets. In my opinion, all these people like Henry Vaughan, Andrew Marvell, George Herbert, Richard Crashaw, and John Donne, these people, they try to argue like lawyers. They use complex metaphors. They sometimes go to the extent of even being called crazy to convey their ideas. They have both religious as well as love poems. This poem, To His Coy Mistress, is a love poem written by Andrew Marvell. So Andrew Marvell, as we all know, lived between the years 1621 and 1678. This poem was published posthumously in the year 1681. So Andrew Marvell's poem To His Coy Mistress has two characters, a man and a woman. The man happens to be the narrator. The narrator is trying to convince his lady love, that is the other character, the woman, to have sex with him. Literally, he's trying to seduce her to have sex with him. So, what is he trying to do here? He's trying to present a few arguments like a clever lawyer so that the woman gets convinced. So, like many other metaphysical poems, To His Coy Mistress also has a lot of paradoxes, weird comparisons, and it is typically metaphysical in the way it is written. So now, to know about Andrew Marvell, you can do a little bit of research on the internet to get more information about his style, his other works, because I don't want to waste time discussing the poet here, because all these information is easily available on the internet. You can just do a Google search and get those information. Now, getting back to the poem begins like this. Had we but world enough and time, this coyness lady were no crime. So mistress means lover, coy means shy or unwilling lover. So what is he saying? He says, if we had enough time, this shyness is not a crime. What is he trying to say here? Since we do not have a lot of time, your coyness is a crime. That's what he is trying to say. So this is a typical metaphysical way of beginning a poem. So you are committing a crime by not accepting my invitation to have mutual entertainment. If we had enough time, we would sit down and think which way to walk and pass our long love stay. If we have a lot of time, we would just sit down, relax, speak. We'll just walk this side and that side. We'll spend a lot of our time discussing, walking, but we don't have much time. Our youths are fleeting. We are losing our youth every single day, every single moment. So we should make the best out of our time. So this is what we call as the carpe diem attitude or seize the day attitude. This is typically romantic. So we should do something immediately. If you want to do something immediately, do not procrastinate, do not wait. So today is our day. So that is the attitude we see in this poem. If we had a lot of time, we would sit and spend a long love's day. Thou by the Indian Ganges' side shouldst rubies find, I by the tide of Humber would complain. So if we have a lot of time, thou refers to you, the person in front of the narrator. You would be sitting by the river Ganges in India, the holy river, and you can find rubies there. But I would be somewhere in England near this river called Humber. So to be precise, it is an estuary. Humber is an estuary in the northern part of England. So I'll be there in England and you may be in India, and we shall spend our time, and maybe after spending a lot of time we can come together. But since we don't have time, okay, we cannot do all these things. You cannot just go to Ganges and I cannot be there at Humber and waste our times. So we have to seize the day. Let us consummate our relationship. That's what he's trying to say. I would love you 10 years before the flood, and you should, if you please, refuse till the conversion of the Jews. So now he's giving us a timeline. So if we had a lot of time, I would love you 10 years before the flood. Now this is a biblical reference. To be specific, he is talking about the Noah's Ark. So the flood is the beginning of everything according to Christianity, according to Bible. So he says, if we had a lot of time, I would have loved even before the flood, even 10 years before the flood. And you can refuse if we had a lot of time, because I can ask you out again and again if we have a lot of time. And you can refuse till the conversion of the Jews. So it is a biblical belief that when Jesus Christ resurrects once again, so all the Jews who follow Judaism will convert themselves to Christianity. So that is about the beginning and end of time according to Bible. So he says, if we had a lot of time, I would have started to love you even 10 years before the flood, and you would have refused me till the conversion of the Jews. My vegetable love should grow vaster than empires and more slow. If we had a lot of time, my love, like a vegetable, would grow vaster than empires. It would become bigger than empires, great kingdoms, and gradually. But unfortunately, we do not have time. My love has to grow immediately. That's what he's trying to say. Probably he's saying we should consummate our relationship immediately because my love is growing fast. And 100 years should go to praise thine eyes, and on thy forehead gaze. So if I had time, I would spend 100 years praising your eyes. Thine refers to your, and on thy, again, your forehead gaze. I would be looking at your forehead, gazing at your forehead for a long period of time, and I would be praising your eyes for 100 years if I had a lot of time. But unfortunately, we don't have time. 200 to adore each breast. I would have spent 200 years to adore each one of your breasts if you have time, if I had time. But 30,000 to the rest. I would have spent 30,000 years to adore the rest of your body. An age at least to every part. I would have spent at least an age. In Tamil, we say yugam. At least an age to adore every part of your body. And I would be madly in love with you. But unfortunately, we do not have time. And the last stage should show your heart. Of course, when everything comes to the end, the last age should show your heart. I'll be able to reach your heart. That's what it says. For lady, you deserve this state, nor would I love at lower rate. You deserve to be praised like this. Okay, whatever he has said, he says, you deserve it. Don't think you don't deserve this. Nor would I love at lower rate. I would not reduce my love. But unfortunately, we do not have time. We need to hurry. So after narrating this part, the narrator looks at the face of his lady love. Still, she is not convinced. So he has to bring in more arguments to convince her to consummate the relationship. So he says, but at my back, I always hear time's winged chariot hurrying near. So time is fleeting. The chariot of times, uh, the time's winged chariot is chasing me. It simply means time is fleeting. We need to make the best use of it. So time is fleeting. Time is chasing me in its winged chariot, a chariot with wings. He says, and yonder all before us lie deserts of vast eternity. So before us lies the future. We are very unsure of the future. We do not know what is going to come next. That is why he says vast eternity. So future is never ending, but our role in this future is limited. We may die, we may turn to dust anytime. That's what he says. Thy beauty shall no more be found, nor in thy marble vault shall sound my echoing song. Then worms shall try that long preserved virginity, and your quaint honor turn to dust, and into ashes all my lust. So now, all of a sudden, like a typical metaphysical poet, Andrew Marvell gets preoccupied with death through the words of the narrator. So what is he trying to say here? Your beauty shall no more be found when you die. So when you go to your marble vault, okay, when you go to your tomb, that is the actual word that a modern poet would have used here, but he is using this words marble vault expression. So he says, when you go to your tomb, even if I try to sing, you won't be able to hear it, but it will echo there. Then worms shall try that long preserved virginity. So if you go to your grave without losing your virginity, ultimately when you go to your grave, the worms are going to take away your virginity. Because a virginity is always associated with morality. So now the lady love's morality is what is preventing her from having sex with this man. So now he's trying to break that morality by connecting it with death and saying, if you die a virgin, your virginity will be taken by the worms and it will be of no use to anybody, and your quaint honor turned to dust. Like morality, the woman wants to protect her honor, so your quaint honor will become dust, your body will become dust, and it will turn into ashes all my lust. So my lust for your physical body will become ashes. The grave's a fine and private place, but none, I think, do there embrace. So grave is a very quiet place. It's a place where lovers can spend time, but the dead bodies there don't embrace. Because no lovers, no people who are alive, go to a grave and spend the time there. Because it's a private place, they can do anything they want there, but nobody who's alive goes to the grave. But what is he trying to say here? They do not embrace. So who do not embrace? The dead bodies do not embrace. It's a private place, it's a great place for lovers to be, but unfortunately the lovers who are dead will never embrace, and lovers who are alive will never go there. That's what he's trying to say. Now, therefore, while the youthful hue sits on thy skin like morning dew. Okay. Now he's looking at the face of the lover. The narrator is looking at the face of the lover. She is still not convinced. So he wants an argument that would break her resolve. So he's trying to tell her that your youthful hue, the word hue refers to color. Let us make the best use of a time when your youthful color sits on your skin like morning dew. So morning dew is short-lived. Similarly, the youthful color on your face is also short-lived. So let us make the best use of it when still you have your youthful hue on your face, and while thy willing soul transpires at every pore with instant fires. So when you're young, your body is full of energy, your body is full of vitality. So every pore from your body breathes instant fire, according to the narrator of this poem. So you are energetic, you are lovely at this point of time. Let us not waste this time. Let us make the best use of our passion. And now, like amorous birds of prey, rather at once our time devour than languish in his slow chap power. He says, let us act like amorous. Amorous means birds, love birds of prey. Let us make the best use of our time, like the birds which always do things in a jiffy. Before you even wink your eye, the bird would have flown away or it would have done something. So let us make the best use of time, like the birds, rather at once our time devour. The word devour here means consume. Let us consume our physical bodies than languish in the slow chap power. Let us not lose ourselves to the slow chap power of time. Okay? Everybody is a victim of time and they cannot escape time. So let us make the best use of it. Let us roll all our strength and all our sweetness up into one ball. So now he is talking about the very physical act of sex, but in a very polite way, let's say. He says, let us roll our strength and all our sweetness up into one ball. Let us become one and tear our pleasures with rough strife through the iron gates of life. And let us break the iron gates of life. Let us not think about anything. Let us break the chains of life which weigh us down. So tear our pleasures with rough strife through the iron gates of life. Thus, though we cannot make our sun stand still, yet we will make him run. So once again, this is typically a metaphysical ending. He says, we cannot make our sun stand still. We cannot stop time, but we can make him run. How is it possible? If we have a good time, we always feel that the time is fleeting. So when you are in a terrible situation, the time does not move. Let's say when you are in a boring class, you always keep looking at your watch to see if the class has come to the end. But at the same time, if you are having a good time with your friend, or if you are spending time in a theme park, you wish the day never ends. Okay, that's how we approach time. So similarly, he says, we cannot stop the sun, but we can make him run faster. How is it possible? Let us have a good time. Let us come together. We shall have a good time. We'll spend our time together and consummate our relationship. This is what he is trying to tell us. So if you look at this poem, if at all there is a theme, it is the carpe diem attitude, that is seize the day attitude, which we see in the narrator's lines or his voice. Again, we see the narrator getting preoccupied with death. Now, why is he doing that? Death is also an important theme in this poem. Likewise, time. So why is he doing this? Why is he trying to bring in death? So he wants to make an impact. He wants to make a proper argument. Because the lady who is listening is not responding. Probably, she's not ready to give up her virginity yet. And she is still in doubt. She's still in two minds. So now he's bringing in all these things like time and death to break her resolve.